Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of our podcast, and today we have Priya with us. Hi Priya, how are you?
Hi Dave, I'm really good. Thank you.
Right. So first of all, I want to let you know that you really have a beautiful smile. This is something that I wanted to do differently. Yeah, I thought since we're re-recording it, there should be something new. For all the audience that do not know this, we already actually shot for 10 minutes, but unfortunately due to some technical issues, we couldn't run through it. So yeah, we're doing it again. But yes, you really do have a great smile. I wanted to add into it, and also Shreya, she mentioned, she really has a good smile. So I thought, let's continue.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. Thank you.
Right. And the next question, of course, I know the meaning of your name, right? But now I want to understand who gave it to you. Priya. Was it your father's idea or your mother's idea? Everyone's name has a story behind it. So what's your name story?
I have a story with my name too. Because earlier you had asked me, is it Priya a very common name?
Right.
But there was a part of it which at that moment I didn't speak about. But later on I was like, I should have revealed this. So initially I was named Urvashi.
Oh, Urvashi. That's a great name too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
I came into my second standard and somehow my mom believed that Urvashi is more of a not too so cool name, doesn't suit a girl. Like somehow, I don't know, she had this whole idea, and then going through a pundit, there were 3 names that had come up. I clearly remembered it was Priya, Priyanka and Shraddha. So my mom finally picked Priya, and suddenly from being called a certain name to being called Priya, it took me a while to listen and get used to that name. Though again, like Priya, Priyanka, all these names are like pretty common, but back then I felt it was easier for anyone to get it right.
Right. And
But Priya means loved by all. Like in Hindi, we say Priya. Exactly the same name, loved by all.
And how did you like the name? I mean, let's say today I give you an option. If you choose between Priya and Urvashi, which one you would prefer?
I like it, Priya. I guess now it's become mine. I resonate with it, and it's just become mine. I would say that. I have the copyright to it.
Right. And we had this conversation earlier, and you are from 3 different states, like your whole life journey till now is in 3 different states. Hopefully you'll move to different states in the future. So yeah, I want to understand your journey of these 3 states and how are these states, especially have welcomed you. How is it for you?
So my maternal granddad, he was in Air Force. He got posted in Baramulla, Kashmir, and that's where my dad was already residing, and that's how my parents got married through an arranged setup. And hence my brother was born in Baramulla, and then I was. But I was 2 when my dad was figuring out his work away from the family business. He wanted to start something of his own, having his own family. So he got some opportunity in Bangalore, and around 1989, he moved to Bangalore, figured his work, and then he called mom and us kids to Bangalore, and there was no looking back since then. So yeah, so I have very faint. I don't have any memories per se of Baramulla because I was way too young to collect anything. But yes, pictures from there. So my mom tries and explains few things to me, and we were a big joint family back there. And from there, coming to Bangalore, obviously my dad had to start his work right from the scratch, which I really look up to. Maybe that's what I have taken from him to become an entrepreneur and find your own route and way to towards what you believe life is for you. So around 89, 90 we shifted to Bangalore, and the play school was here for me. The schooling was done here to the nearest places that we resided in. And I remember when we came, we were in Bailakabal, Bangalore, and then we shifted to Malleshwaram, and the school was around. So I was in one school all through my lower KG till my 10th standard. So yeah.
So, Jammu and Kashmir, now Kashmir, Baramulla is in Kashmir now.
Yes.
Right. I mean, not is in Kashmir now, it was, but now since it got separated, now it's Kashmir.
Yeah.
And then Bengaluru, Karnataka, and the third one was Punjab, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. So basically my roots are from Punjab. I'm a Punjabi. If I have to be specific, yes, completely Indian by heart. But if I had to say that where was my mother tongue, it's actually Punjabi, but we speak Hindi at home. So my parents are Punjabi, and that's how I'm
So
a Punjabi.
you must know lots of languages. I'm sure Punjabi. Do you speak Punjabi by any chance?
I speak better Kannada than Punjabi for sure.
Right.
But on the understanding level, like I understand Punjabi a lot more. In terms of the songs and stuff. Kannada, when it comes to like the Halli Kannada that they say, Halli Kannada is basically the core Kannada language. I might not get that. The spoken Kannada is good. Punjabi per se, I understand quite a bit.
Right. Great. So that's about the very short introduction about yourself, where you hail from, and now we'll go into the depth of it. So I remember last time we spoke about your childhood. I know it might sound like you're reiterating the facts again, but yes, I and the audience would definitely want to know how were you as a kid. Now, of course, you're very much cheerful. That is something that I picked up from you. You're really lively. I've seen your post on Instagram. I've seen your interviews. I'm sure you're someone who really speaks your heart out. That is something that I've taken. I don't know if it's true or not, or maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, let me know how were you as a kid.
So my dad has always been, I would say was, because I lost him 2 years ago. My dad was always a very strict one, maybe because of the kind of upbringing he had. That's the reason he treated us in a certain way. And, the moment he used to be home, it used to be pin drop silence. If, we couldn't talk in, like, even till today, even maybe till when he was there, I never had, it became very difficult to have a conversation with him over years, because as a child, my dad was very strict, and so I turned out to be, maybe I got conditioned in a way to be this very geeky, silent kind of a girl, probably sitting in a room and no one would have noticed. Though my dad had days, that dad and me used to take up this entire cleaning project of the house. So my dad and me were a team, and I have got those few traits from him that I have carried, and my mom. So there's a lot of things that I've carried from my dad. The cleaning aspect, I guess, I've got from him. And like I said, that I've always been a silent child, and because of him being so strict, over a period of time, it became very difficult for me to converse with people. This is something that I observed, that where it came from, because my dad never used to converse too much with me. It used to be more on basis that was really required, not like a heart-to-heart conversation I rarely used to have with my dad. Even back then, my dad's love was very different. His love used to come in very ways that possibly at that moment I didn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, because as a child, maybe you're seeking love in a particular way, your dad taking you around, taking you to restaurants that my dad used to do, but never used to have that heart-to-heart conversation with him. So because of that, I guess most of the time I used to spend with my books, and turned out to be a pretty good above average student, or used to top eventually. And my schooling, all the PTAs, it's been my mom who's attended. I rarely actually remember my dad being a part of any of the PTAs. So basically, I was not too close to my dad because of this reason, because I never had any direct heart-to-heart conversation with him. Though I know he was there as an adult today. I understand, he had his own things about earning for the family. He started right from the scratch, and of course, again, I go back to his upbringing, from where he came from. That's the reason he was a certain way. And yeah, they gave us the best of the education to us, and I'm so grateful and thankful that my dad shifted to Bangalore, because the kind of life that I have today versus what could have it been if I was back there, or so the kind of life, the kind of exposure that I have got today as an adult is phenomenal.
Right. I love the fact that you're really honest about it, and also the fact that you realized it, because this kind of parent, the strict kind of parent, loving but again strict, these are prevalent. I'd be very honest, because I've spoken to many and it's very common. But the thing is, the kids or let's say the people that I've conversed, they did not realize it sooner, but I really think that that it was also a way of love, and I'm sure I'm really sorry that your father isn't here, but I'm sure he would be listening here, anywhere. If it's true that people do listen to you, then I'm sure he would be happy, and maybe this is really amazing again, that it, because most of the people do not, so that is something I want to convey. But yes, how is the relationship with your mom, with your mother? I understand father's side, but how is it with your mother?
Earning one. So somehow in the orthodox upbringing that I was, somehow the wives are dependent on the husband's decision, and for a lot of other things. Though yes, my mom always was keen that she wanted a daughter, and that's how they had the second child as me.
Wow.
Again, yeah, this is a story my mom tells me, that they thought they just want one child, but my mom was keen, she wanted a daughter, and yeah, I guess she was too sure, or manifested it that she would want a daughter, and that's how I was. Because again, she tells me her childhood stories, which is really heartbreaking to hear, that again, how the parents there treated their daughters. Still, I'm sure even in smaller cities, even today this thing happens. The daughters are
Very much
treated in a way
subordinated. Yeah, very much subordinated.
yeah, that they have to go somewhere and they have to be under someone.
Yeah.
This is what your role as in a marriage is going to be eventually. So so my mom told me a couple of stories, and that's the whole reason she wanted a daughter, so that she gives her more than that she got.
Wow.
So my mom, certainly she put her effort, and wherever possible, wherever she could, in most definite ways, in possibly wanting to dress me up also. I guess she's put that effort, because she told me, she's like, yeah, we didn't have this happening in our days back then. So but yeah, major kind of decisions were like husband, wife, and together. It's mostly the husband who takes, because who becomes the bread earner has the more power at home.
I also remember that you mentioned last time that you used to drape your mom's saree, cosmetics.
Oh yes, yeah. This was, I guess, every girl's this fantasy that happens. Okay, you want to walk a ramp, and then you get dressed up wearing your mom's heels, and possibly take the dupatta when you're younger, and then older you take the saris and then try to put their makeup on and just walk through the corridor as if you're walking a ramp of whatever you watch on TV. Yeah, so all this this was, again, the Barbie doll scene.
Right.
Everyone working, playing with the kitchen set. You want to be a teacher one day, you want to be a doctor one day. So my ideas of growing up and becoming something would have changed months on months of whatever explored and saw around.
Right. So since you have mentioned Barbie doll, I just want to ask you, what has been your favorite cartoon back then?
I have watched Tom and Jerry and the Mickey Mouse house the most. Chip and Dale was another thing. Looney Tunes, Uncle Scrooge. Uncle Scrooge used to come in Hindi back then on DD. I guess that used to go without missing.
Right. That's really amazing. I really haven't watched Uncle Scrooge. I should. I come from a different line again, I guess. But yes, that's it. Let us know about your school days. And I'd want you to help me understand, since you have been from not a very, but a moderate strict family, coming to school, and then you have different students, different children, all of them, and they all come from different places. So was it difficult for you to gel with them? How was it? How was their attitude towards you? How was your attitude towards you? And how did you get into school and all of that?
So I guess the school, my play school, was easy. I feel as a kid you grasp the local languages or any other language very quicker versus so I guess it was never tough for me. That's why I guess I speak Kannada way better than Punjabi, because as a child, whatever my conscious ears have been through the play school, and then the upper lower class, and the my first to 10th standard, I have been surrounded by a lot of locals, and then they spoke to me, conversed with me a lot in Kannada, though I studied in an English medium school. But third language by default was
the
Kannada.
regional language. Yeah.
The regional language is there. Yes. So So yeah, I did grasp the language very easy, but the reading and writing was a task for me because at home, certainly my parents didn't know the language. I did go to tuitions for it. I was pretty good. I used to fare pretty good till it was till the language was mandatory. It was, I guess, till my eighth standard that it was mandatory, and then we just had to have the first two languages eventually in like ninth and tenth standard. So till then, like the written and the reading was slightly a task for me. The talking was pretty easy because normally also I used to converse with a lot of people around in Kannada. Through school, obviously, again, my school that I went to was my mom put me into a school that was closest to where we stayed because that's how it used to be back then. Because my mom didn't have too much of the understanding of to research about the good schools, but it was more like okay, which school is good
Yeah,
around
it's
this
more about
residential area.
safety. I think the safety
Yeah.
issues also, it's very near. You can comment. Yeah.
Yeah. So all that happened, and schooling was still like okay. I did have one, two friends. We used to walk back school, share our assignments. And till my eighth grade, we were all girls. So I grew up around only girls in the class, and when I went further, we were put with the boys, and it was so odd for us because all of us have always been girls in the class, and suddenly we have boys. Never used to boys being around. Apart from me and my brother, it was a different thing. But having boys in the class sitting next to you or wanting to talk to you became odd for both of us, and in fact, even the boys used to find it odd. Maybe
Right.
they were interacting with the girls for the first time. Like I had spoken about earlier in 8th standard, I had my English teacher who kind of insulted me about my language. He's like, you need to uh, write, and yeah, your spoken English has to get better. It felt really bad at that moment, but I kind of took it on me. I remember I used to read dictionaries. I used to read dictionaries. I used to hear, I used to listen to, whatever was possible on TV. I was not too much a reader. Even I am still not, though I like philosophical stuff. I try and read something that interests me, but randomly I wouldn't read stuff. So I used to pick up dictionaries to get a hang about the languages, the new words that I could put into my language and stuff. So I guess I started exploring dictionary first. So going on from there, and yeah, I guess I did a great job for myself over a period of time, because when I came to my 11th standard, so in here in the south we have 11, 12. Unless you do your ICSE or CBSE, you have your pre-university college at first and second. So when I went to my first PUC, I remember my English teacher, she pulled out my answer sheet and
Read it
read
out.
read it out in front of the whole class, saying that you got to read what Priya has written. So I guess then whatever I had worked on kind of
Paid off. Yeah.
paid off for me. So yeah, I remember that teacher, though it's left, like I said, it's left a really huge impact that I still remember that incident really well. But when it came back from an English teacher back again, I felt that I've done a great job.
Right.
So yeah, I have been a pretty good student in my school. I scored a 90%, and then of course I went to Jain College. My mom was keen that I join a all girls college initially because again the kind of conditioning she's had, and I was kind of keen that no, I want to pick these colleges. Finally, I joined Sri Bhagwan Mahavir Jain College, and that's where I did my pre-university. That's first and second PUC and 3 years of bachelor's in commerce. And again, I was exposed to a very new set of people coming with different thought processes. It made me realize maybe did I lack something. It made me question my education because they came from really good schools. They came from convents. The kind of language that they had, the kind of exposure that they had versus me. I used to feel a little intimidated initially, but I realized they're nice people who do understand, from where I am coming, and I eventually landed up making great friends. a lot of guy friends to begin with, and which was I was shocked that I never have so many guy friends. And we used to hang out, go to for coffees, movies. But still, in my 11th and 12th standard, that's the pre-university, I was still a geek who used to make all notes, sit in the first bench, attend all the classes without bunking any of them. I remember we used to have our classes at 7:30 in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Our first class was at 7:30. I used to leave home at around 6.
It's almost
So
12
for
hours.
that, I used
12 hours, yeah. 11 hours or something, yeah.
so I used to have my classes from 7:30 to 12:30 p.m. So we used to finish college by noon. So that was, and a lot of people, we had a very Marwadi dominated crowd at our college. So most of the boys had this thing of finishing college and going to work.
Business,
Most
okay.
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, the businesses, mostly from business families. So because of that, I used to leave, wake up at 5ish, get ready, and then go to the bus stop, take the bus, go. So yeah, we used to, some days were bad, some days we didn't get a bus, some days we did. So yeah, that's how my first and second PUC I have traveled by bus back then, and eventually in the summers used to get really bad, and the crowd used to be bad sometimes. Used to come and tell my parents about it, but they hardly could do anything because ideally there was no other way unless I had to take an auto every single day, which was expensive for me on my pocket because I got a specific pocket money per day or per month, which I see would have been I would have had to overspend if I had to take another transportation.
At
So,
least I'm happy
I've
that
had
you
it tough.
used to get a pocket money. I never used to get pocket money. I get jealous when people talk about pocket money. It was always about if you want something, ask me and take. That was something at my home. I really get jealous when people say that I used to get pocket money.
Really? The point was we never used to get this chance, because we used to get the pocket money and we couldn't ask anything beyond.
Yeah. See, perspective.
So it's the other way for us. So this way, I feel you were lucky that you used to get when asked. But for us, it was maybe on the birthdays. Still, after coming to the first and second pre-university, it was just the birthdays that we might get a dress that you wanted to buy or something like that. Because see, all through schools, what happens is most of the time in your uniforms, you hardly have a wardrobe.
Right.
Like you're still conditioned that only on birthdays or Diwalis you're going to get an outfit, and you hardly wear it through the year, and they just outgrow, and then the next year you want another pair. So I guess we were still under that condition that again the birthday Diwali only we're going to get. But I realized at college we are not wearing uniform anymore. We want clothes every single day.
Right. Yeah. That's one thing that I think I was also. Yeah, I think if I have to say, I shouldn't, but yeah, I think I also ran out of clothes when I started college. It's all uniform. And did you have that ritual of taking chocolates? Well, since you have mentioned about birthdays, did you have that ritual of taking chocolates and then giving to each person? How did it feel like back then?
So what used to happen at school is basically, so my mom and me, we celebrate our birthdays like one day apart. So I always used to take 2 chocolates to give everyone. That's saying that yesterday was my mom's birthday, today is mine. And all through my class, there was another girl who used to celebrate her birthday. I so clearly remember. So everyone used to get three chocolates. And we used to go class to class distributing chocolates to all the teachers. But when we came to the college per se, since all of us were wearing color clothes, in school still you come in a colored cloth when it's your birthday, but once you're in college, you're wearing color clothes, no one even realizes. So
Right.
I guess over a period of time, people forgot that you need to distribute chocolates at college as well.
It was really amazing back then. And if you did this, we used to give extra chocolates to our best friends. Remember that. That's like marking. That's
We
like
used to take a 5-star.
yeah, 5-star, and give even to our favorite teachers. I think we give something special. I still remember that.
Yes.
Cool. So tell me, PUC, you first, you started talking to boys, you hang out, and that's how it started. So how was it different? Of course, it was different, but I want to understand if there has been anything that you can share about that particular experience, for the first time, or the, initially when you actually hanged out, how was that experience for you?
it used to feel like very odd because I have not interacted with any other male apart from
Do you
my.
remember anyone who first spoke to you? The guy's name who has ever spoken? You know, like a
It
friend.
was no, I don't remember who it was, but I've had friends who are still my friends, so I guess I have more significant memory with them. Possibly in the class, yes, we got introduced to all the boys. There was one boy who used to sit behind me, Nitin, who's a very good friend of mine even till today, and he listens to all my nonsense. He's married now, happily married, but he still takes time to listen to my nonsense. So when both of us sit and then talk, I kind of tell him, what we used to do back in college. Like again, we run through our memories time and again. That was there, and then there's Sunil, Yash, a couple of friends. Then they become gangs. They were people started having crushes. Though I had my crush much later, but at least my first PUC, I don't think I made more guy friends, and I guess I was more like around boys,
more comfortable around boys.
Yeah, I became very comfortable around boys all of a sudden.
No, the reason why I asked was because I remember when you go to a new school or a new college, what typically happens is you go and sit in a place, like you choose a place to sit, and then you start talking to just that 1 second, 2, 3 people, and they become some of your friends. I think that is how friendships are made. You just go sit, and then you find these people around you, and then you start talking. That's how friendships are made. And if at all you would have on some other bench, for that matter, then I think your friend would have been different. That's something that I think about.
Yeah.
But cool. So we are done with PUC, and also I want to talk about your hand.
So yeah, Nitin used to sit behind me, and there was this girl called Preksha, who's again a very good friend. Totally cares for me in possible ways that she can.
I remember.
Yeah, so she's been through thick and thin. We have done like the most nasty things, nasty conversations, pulling each other's leg, and among the two of us, I was the geek, so my notes used to go through all her friends who used to Xerox them and read it just before exams. So so in fact I was just telling her today that I spoke about her and she was so happy. I was like, listen, whenever I have to talk about my life, you are for sure there a part of my conversation. So right now she's in Moscow, but yeah, we have been through through my degree, and then then she got married.
That's really amazing. Cool. So we've spoke a lot, and to be honest, the usual cycle of a podcast, the time that we do our podcast is like about 40 minutes or something. And to be honest, I just asked you 2 questions, and we are almost around half now. But it's really interesting, and I really love talking to you. That's something. Okay, cool. So the next one is about your college, not the PUC, but the actual college. Of course, when we after plus 12 or after 12, we do have a certain transition, right from school to that, from mentality, that awe feeling to talking to that opposite gender to the lots of differences that happen in college. So how was your college life, and how different was it from your school? How different was it from PUC?
Yes, I guess my mind completely changed from being this entire geeky girl. I kind of sobered down. I was like, theek hai, I mean, 60-70% is okay. I don't want anything beyond that. I'm happy with this. And I had my first crush in my when I was finishing my 12th, and then by the time I went to my first year of college, I had my first crush at someone who is the senior of my college itself.
It happens. I've listened lots of stories always having crushes to their seniors, and I want to ask that question again. Yeah, go on, please. I'll
I don't know why it happened, but it just did happen. We were like, obviously, first, they remember, first crushes, and then possibly we dated for a while till, he had to fly back. He was an NRI, so he was 2 years senior. By the time I came to my first year, he was already in his final, and then he had to leave. But I have like amazing memories. He used to teach me statistics and math. He was really good at it. So very short, but it was amazing.
Okay, right. And how was college overall? I mean, wait, let me ask this question. Did you ever had a favorite teacher or a lecturer in college?
Favorite teacher or lecturer?
Yeah,
lecturer?
Yeah.
not really that I was fond of anyone, but they were like, see, this is the difference that I felt when from school to college. Here, all the lecturers, the professors, they were like super chill. Maybe, they understand these are grown up, or these are growing up adults. Versus my school teachers, the way they treated with so much respect. They couldn't shout at us the way our teachers back at school could. Somehow I felt that they felt that they didn't have the right to do it. They used to correct us, but certainly not shout at us.
Yeah.
And I guess that transformed my mentality in a lot of ways. I sobered down, and I started understanding life a little apart from college, because ideally my life has always been around studies, and then I turned my head towards want to explore more, and I started working. I remember when I came to my second year of college, I started freelancing for companies. I started earning my first when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
So
What
so when I started earning,
what you
so I used to work with event production companies to help them, like the event was planned, but they want like extra help, extra manpower. So you want to help them with the registration or distributing something at the event.
Sure.
So it was just like a one day gig or few hours gig that you was there.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was great money, because you're still getting pocket money at home, and something like this that you're getting after your college hours is amazing. So I guess that also turned my perspective, started seeing life more outside college and what my parents showed me as. Another thing I have to tell you, that I've always grown up as from a religious family. My parents are very, religious and spiritually inclined. So, that aspect of being grounded and fearing God came to me since then, as I grew up as well. So I knew that, whatever I do, it's certainly never going to be wrong. Maybe I'll learn through it and rise above. And college was amazing. And then in my second year, I met my then boyfriend. Of course. So yeah, the love chord struck. My friends played the Cupid and then got us together. And then we dated for quite a few years. Yeah.
This is
So I guess most of these love stories start at college, school.
Yeah,
For some,
yeah,
it's school. For me,
yeah.
it started at college, and for some, it becomes work, and then eventually.
So we basically in this podcast, I generally ask. There's a segment separate, the love segment, where I ask about were you heartbroken. But yeah, that's okay. We can talk about it. It's not a segmented one.
So we can take this later also.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. So after college, now we will get into the did you do your masters? I mean, after degree, have you figured out your masters, or did you start working? What happened after that?
So I'll tell you what happened was, I thought I want to take a break from my whole degree. I've studied too much. It was too much for me to digest. It was too much of journal ledgers and balance sheets that I had to do. I'm done.
You were a
I want
commerce
a break.
one. Okay.
Yes, I was a commerce student.
Okay.
I took up commerce because I was not too sure that which route do I want to go. Do I want to do my masters or do I want to do my CA? So I felt that commerce part was the safest. You can switch to any media profession as well eventually if you want to. So I wanted to take a break. I was kind of keen on learning to do with creativity and stuff. So I took up a diploma in fashion. So I started doing that, and my idea was, once I finish my fashion designing for a year, and then I will do my masters. But what happened was, while I was doing my diploma in fashion, I got a job that was around event production. So I took that up and kind of stuck with that for about a year, till I realized that I guess I have that streak of becoming an entrepreneur and want to do something on my own and not work per se in a job 9 to 5, and somehow maybe it was my calling or something. And randomly then I was speaking to my friend Preksha, and I told her, dude, like, I don't think doing this 9 to 5 is my thing. Somehow I don't feel right. I don't feel in my space. So somehow she came up with this thing in 2012 that, listen, people are doing this home baking. I was like, listen, I've never got into kitchen in my life. Like, where will I start baking now? She's like, try. If you've not got into kitchen, like, give a shot, like, if it works. So I was
So
like,
Preksha
okay.
actually did play a very big role, right? And
Oh, she
completely,
still
yeah.
does. Still does.
Okay.
So it's just like with her, it's like I have this sisterly thing. I don't have a sister myself, but I tend to share like, very prominent things with her, and she'll be like, oh, why, why don't you do this? Why don't you try this? She has like all these ideas already on her top of her head. So she told me, she's like, why don't you give a shot? I was like, okay, I'll give a shot, but I don't know, I don't think, or maybe I'll figure out through it if I have to do something else. So 2012, I started baking very randomly, just with the thing that okay, I'll figure out on the way that what I got to do. So I started baking. The first year went trash. Like whatever I baked, I had to put it in the bin because ideally nothing was coming right. But since I was doing the ABC of everything, I guess like I said, the language when you're younger, it's easy to grasp. So same thing with the baking. Since I was new to the whole area of it, there was no looking back after that year. Things started just rolling as if it was made for me. I started getting work. Ideally, when you start making money is when you realize that that this
That
is
you're
what
doing it
is
well,
your
yeah.
calling. Yeah, and then you're doing it well. People are appreciating you.
Yeah.
So through it, while I was doing this, it went on and on, and I started spending like my days. 2012 to 2019, I have not looked back a day, thinking that should have I taken up something else. I was just so stuck to baking, made good money, and back then, this whole stream was very new, like people doing things from home and stuff. So it kind of picked up. I mean, really grateful that I got a lot of avenues to make money, got to serve a lot of people, and I have lost count of the number of cakes that I've done. Like every single day, I was making a celebration cake. Though yes, you're being a part of someone's celebration and being appreciated and stuff. And then came 2019. I realized I really need to take a break. This is getting very monotonous now. And I took a break to study nutrition. Since I was already hitting the gym, I was a fitness enthusiast to some extent, not like a big loud one, but yeah, I was like, no, I need to take care of myself as well because being in the kitchen all through the day, my back was begin to hurt, my posture used to go bad eventually. So I realized I really need to hit the gym and correct my form and stuff. So I felt that I am around food, I'm working out, but there is some fine line that's missing. That's food that I might not be able to be taken care of in a right way. So I was like, let me take a break from work for a year, and possibly I can imbibe a few things in my baking as well, with the nutrition that I study. So in 2019, I started studying nutrition, and I really wanted to go to physical classes, not do it online. So I started studying nutrition, and sadly, 2020, the pandemic hit.
Right.
And everything came for a standstill. I couldn't get back to work, and yeah, luckily finished my nutrition. But the pandemic gave me a good time to reiterate. Yeah, explore and reiterate, what direction do I want to go? And I started questioning my existence in life. Like, like what am I doing? Like, what purpose do I have? Like, yes, I'm making cakes, people are being happy. Is that my sole purpose? What is the purpose of my existence? All these questions come. Yeah, I'm sure for most of us, it's come through the pandemic that, where the life is heading and stuff. So yeah, I thought that. So that was the point, when I realized that giving up dairy treated me, healed me in a very big way, and I turned vegan. See, my vegan route has been health. So, I call myself plant-based because ideally I won't do justice for people who are vegans and fighting for animals. I'm not on the activism side, though by default I become like a +1 to the whole vegan community, but my route has been health. So, that's what I speak about very loud, and I realized that if this is something, giving up dairy and tweaking my whole eating habits helped me so much in a way that I could be like off medicines for the rest of my life. I started speaking just generally to people about, giving up dairy helped me, blah, blah, blah. I started talking about my experiences on the internet and stuff. A lot of people got connected to me saying that, Priya, we have these issues. Why don't you guide us? So around 2020 later, I hit my first class with 109 students who just wanted to understand how to cook without dairy, because ideally you're baking with dairy, or cooking something or the other which has dairy in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was still doing what I was doing. I was around food, but I kind of diversified to something that I guess I believed and followed now. So it was 2020, and then the journey went on, and even till today, I have healed myself completely, turning plant-based and eating more clean food and being off medicines. And I guess I found my purpose of life, and this is what I want to get to people with, that even if I can touch one person on this planet to go completely medicine-free from the ways that they can eat. So yeah, that's what it is, and that has been my ideology when I went on MasterChef as well.
Right. And now we'll talk about the MasterChef journey. But before that, when we hear something about plant-based, for me, if I hear about plant-based, I find it very difficult. Eating, that's another part. People complaining about it. I'm not complaining. I'm not on the complaining end. But from from a chef perspective, or someone who's cooking, I want to understand how hard is it? Because I really think that it's really hard. How hard is it for you? Yeah.
It was hard. I'm not saying it was a cakewalk. It took me good. First of all, it took me. So I'll tell you how I realized I had this issue was basically all through my childhood. I used to be waking up with a running nose and sneezing on most of the mornings. And because of this, I used to feel fatigued and feverish. Most of the days by default.
Right.
And people say Bangalore has pollens, and a lot of people have this problem. So I guess I accepted the fact that that's what it's going to be till I'm in Bangalore. But when I was studying nutrition, I stumbled upon the chapter on dairy, and there were pros and cons of dairy, but when I read the symptoms that you can be wrong with consuming dairy, it very much resembled to what I was dealing with. So I was like, okay, let me do a trial error. So it was just a matter of 3 weeks that my medicine frequency from consuming like maybe a pill every second day came down to 0. So I have done this consuming medicine every second day for over a decade. So from there, coming to 0 was a big deal for me. And I started questioning, like for more than 10 years, I have gone to doctors. Why hasn't any doctor asked me to do an allergy test? Food allergy test. So that was my question, that how come no doctor told me? And okay, it took me 21 days to realize, okay, dairy was a problem. So I was like, I got back to dairy. The moment I got back to dairy, the allergies came back. And that's when I realized that if I want to be off medicines that I have taken for 10 years, and then it has damaged me internally for sure in some way or the other, I have to reverse all this. So for that, I have to eat clean. Initially, it was very tough. Like I said, I come from a Punjabi family, grown up eating, dairy and eggs. And I was a non-vegetarian earlier, turned vegetarian for over 15 years. And very tough for me. And since I studied nutrition, I had to put all of that to use. In the pandemic, I started cooking my meals with a lot of vegetables, a lot of different kind of grains. My mom also understood that apart from just eating wheat and rice, we have so many grains that we should be eating. Apart from carrot, beans, and these 3-4 vegetables that used to idly come to my house, I started exploring more that was local. I started getting that, reading up online, cooking with it more and more and more. It took me good 1.5 years to have a proper transition. First, I left dairy, but I had to include more food in my diet. Initially, when I left dairy, I went very fragile. My mom thought that I have lost it. I became very pale. But now to regain the whole thing, I had to plan a diet for myself, which helped me heal. And it took a while. It's not an overnight journey. But when you find your why, I guess it's very easy.
Right. And this happens to be your niche, again, to be very, very crisp about, what way you're going. I think it's very niche. And there are people with lactose intolerant, right? Lactose intolerance. There are, I think there's a set of people, I don't know what percentage, I've not researched about it, but I'm sure,
Yeah, so ideally, more than 70%, I would say 100% of the Indian population or of the population is lactose intolerant. It's just that we do not know it. We are in some way or the other lactose intolerant. Some people have allergies, some people have sinuses. All these are signs of being lactose intolerant. It's just that people become negligent. Again, thinking about dairy is something that we've been consuming for years.
Right. So now we'll talk about the master chef, right? And I remember being a kid, I used to watch MasterChef with my parents while taking dinner. But then, of course, I haven't been in touch with MasterChef. I'm sure, I think you are in the season 6 of MasterChef, right? You are.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I had in the season. Okay, this one 2023 was season 7, but I had made it to top 40 in the season 6 as well.
Okay. You were there? Oh, okay. That's really okay. So you have.
I made it to the top 40. Obviously, I didn't make it to the television. I didn't go ahead on the show, but came back with a very different perspective this time. Back then, I went as a baker because I was baking. When I went to the season 6, now I went with a completely different mindset, and I was a very different person after, because this season came after the pandemic. So we had 3 years in between, and I was a completely new person now.
Right. So please let me know the whole journey. I think rather than me asking a question, if the whole journey is there, it would be quite good.
Exactly, that I have run through you about how I reversed my the ailment. I had to speak about it because that has been my route of turning plant-based, because I feel everyone who are connected to food has some story. Either they are religious, through their religion they are bound to the kind of food that they cook. Everyone, all of us have stories, and I guess that's what fascinates the most, that people who have stories behind why they took this route
as a profession.
And so mine was a very personal journey, and then I spoke about how I have, through the pandemic, I had already touched 2,000 people plus, teaching them, and more than maybe 12,000 plus people, giving free workshops talking about that giving up dairy and possibly even gluten can help you in such a long way, and reversing so many ailments. So that was my story, and then my food was completely plant-based. I went with an intent itself that I want to promote plant-based, and the whole idea about MasterChef is that you have to be you cannot be a trained professional, because ideally then you are a chef already coming on the show. So that's not something that works. It's basically giving a platform to people who are homegrown.
Right.
So I do not have any culinary knowledge, and it was completely out of passion and whatever I grew as. I had this whole story, and Chef Ranveer Garma, Chef Garma and Chef Vikas were really excited, and all they told me was that, Priya, if nutrition and nourishment is your core goal, we are with you for it. And that's how I got my apron, and I went further on the show. Though I made it to the top 11, I got eliminated in a round where my whole basket was filled with dairy and meat. And as an individual, I didn't want to do something now for the purpose that I had come there. Yes, as a part of the show in team challenges and where I had to work in pairs, I worked as a team where people had to use dairy and possibly even eggs. But as an individual, I never wanted to put out something that I am not.
Standing for,
so in the elimination round, it was a completely individual challenge. So my basket was left with bare minimum. I was really happy with what I made, because I knew that this is all I can do. And certainly, I'm not a chef, so whatever best I could think of. I still remember I made a cabbage risotto with a capsicum jam and a lentil soup and a radish salad. I was really happy with what came out, but someone has to go some other day, but 11 is a good number.
No, I've also seen this interview. You have spoken in an interview where you've also mentioned that even when you used to cook, other than plant-based food, you wouldn't taste it. You wouldn't taste it, and you have to serve it. And I think it was really because I'm also a cook. My sister, my elder sister, she was talking to me, and I told her that I'm talking to someone who has been to MasterChef and all of that, and she told, I think this episode is really going to be fun for you because even you cook. So even I cook, and I can understand at that point of time that it's very hard for you to serve food without tasting it, right? Because,
Yeah, it's just been 3 years, Dave, though I have turned towards plant-based, but my core intention was to promote plant-based food and what I have turned to be as a person. It's not that I have not eaten meat at some point, I've not eaten dairy, I've not eaten eggs. But today as an individual, what I represent as and what I've gone on this platform as, I wanted that to come out loud, and I feel I've done a decent job. My
yeah,
elimination
for sure.
my elimination was okay, part of the show. Idly, I went as whatever I went. It didn't serve the platform, though. All due respect to the platform, they work around what has to be
Right.
the game as. So yeah, it's all cool.
Right. Maybe further down the line we'll have speciality, niche based shows. Hoping that.
Hopefully,
And,
but I got eliminated with getting a name tag that Priya, you're the power plant girl.
maybe you should start. I mean, maybe there's no stop, there's no age. So, maybe down the line you can have your own niche speciality one. And I'd love to see that. Well, yes. That said, now we'll go into the main crux of our podcast, right? So, what I do generally is when I started back again, I started in the year 2019, and after that the pandemic hit, and I stopped it for a brief time, and we are actually doing it again because I really love talking to people. It's just for me to understand different people, different ideas and different places they come from. It's really something that interests me a lot. Of course, it's not my purpose of life, but I do love it as a hobby. My purpose I still haven't figured out, so I figured out at some point of time. But yes, that said, what I do is my whole idea of this podcast was to bring people as guests and then talk to them about their life experience, and then finally talk to them, not finally, but somewhere in the mid, talk to the guest about what do they think life is all about, what exactly they believe, or do they have any definition, and if at all I give you this leverage of talk it out loud, what do you think life is all about, what would be your answer?
Okay, this is a philosophical question I love, because I guess most pandemic I have to mention this, it's really important for me to mention this, that I needed therapy at some point. I did take therapy, I did reach out to someone because I had a lot of questions around me about life, and I started questioning myself in about 2017. I started questioning my existence, and maybe I had to rewire my whole belief and how I was brought up, because some beliefs come from how you've been brought up, right? So you're just stuck in that whole bubble that life is this. But I guess I had to restructure, and somehow the universe helped me get in touch with someone, and beautifully she put it across to me that Priya, she helped me to get to the root of why I was thinking what I was thinking, and help me rewire myself. Though rewiring doesn't happen overnight, the
Right.
conditioning is so strong because of your parents. She helped me understand a lot that you need to make your own belief system of what you believe is right for you. So it helped me change a lot of my perspective, and I feel healing is always a journey. Every single day you need to accept and acknowledge the not so great parts about yourself as well. What life is, I have come to realize that I needed a purpose for myself to live. I do not know if ever I'll have a partner in my life, not have. Yeah, I guess getting married, having your child, having your family is going to be a part and parcel. You're just going to leave the way you have come, all alone. For me, like I said, I found my purpose is to help heal people, and that's through food for me. And even if I touch one soul who says that, Priya, that just because of your journey I have healed myself, changing my habits, I guess that will be the greatest part for me. Yeah, and that's the purpose that I'm living for every single day. Like, I have something to wake up to now versus maybe 10 years ago.
One more thing that I can add up to this answer, or a certain compliment, is that now that you're talking about it loud, the people would be listening to you, right? And you're always on the on the edge that I'd want to change one person, or that at least one person, the perspective or their health, in any matter. I think it would definitely change for sure.
And through your podcast as well, because my story, ideally, this long has not been obviously at MasterChef. It's more about food related,
Right.
but I've never spoken about my life, from where I come and what it is. Like I said, I'm from.
Right.
So if this something to your podcast and someone connects through it, and
So
that
bottom line again of this podcast was to make sure to create a platform for people like you and me to come and share their experiences, because oftentimes we talk to different, we see different celebrities, we see different, athletes talking about their life cycle, but life journey. But I also know that there are people out there who definitely have certain things to share, and there's also again a learning curve that goes on throughout your life, and there's no stop to it. So I think that was one thing again, but again, thanks for sharing that. I think it's really a fresh perspective. I have spoken to many, but this is completely healing, or finding your route through food, or through the kind of needs that you picked up. I think it's really special. I wish you all the best for that. And moving on, we'll now go to the most important question of our whole podcast, where the people are really interested to listen. That's love, right? Because I don't know, people do get interested in all of this. So now I know that you had a crush back then. Your first crush was when you were in the first year of your college, and then you had your first boyfriend when you were in the second year of your college, right? No?
Yeah.
No?
So I did date my first crush as well, but he had to leave, and then it didn't go on. Obviously, we tried keeping in touch, and doesn't really work that way. We were too young to think anything beyond. But the second one, we dated for, like, we were in a relationship till 2017, till we decided to part ways because both of us wanted two different things from life. I wanted to carry on with what I believe, my ambition, and I guess it was my priority. I'm not saying that I didn't want a family or didn't want to be with, but somehow the circumstances didn't favor me at that point. If it had to happen today, I would happily get married, but if he was still my boyfriend. Sadly that didn't happen, so we parted ways, and we got married, and then
So
life.
So how was it after? Since it was a decision that you made, I'm sure love. No matter how many people, or how many times you have fallen in love, I think whenever you break up or whenever that thing stops, it feels like the first one. To be honest, because you're never ready for a breakup. You just give it your all, and then suddenly something happens. Of course, irrespective of what all reasons. But I want to understand how. Of course, I believe you were heartbroken, but I want to understand how to come out.
2009 to 2017. It's a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was from 2000. I was still in the mindset. Oh, it's just degree second year. Okay, fine.
That was 2009.
Yeah. So how did you cope
in fact,
up?
2008.
Right. So how did you cope up with it? How did you cope with
That's why I said that I needed healing, because I started questioning everything in life all of a sudden, and finding my purpose, because you're so attached to a person and you start seeing life together so much. And I guess women are somewhere emotionally bound. They are, wired in a certain way. And suddenly, the person whom you thought you're having a future with, and possibly even a family with, and suddenly, all that's not happening, and you start questioning your, that was the point. I started questioning my whole existence, and I really needed to reach out to someone, needed to talk to someone who comes from a very unbiased place, and it took me a really long time. Like I said, healing is a journey, but I have come to understanding that people do carry baggages, right? I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that to maybe whoever comes in my life, or whoever I am a part of life, whosever life I'm a part of. It's just that I had to acknowledge and accept the fact that this has happened, because I didn't see anyone beyond him. I found it really tough to connect with anyone new. I didn't date anyone after that. So I knew that a part of me is still broken. It's still there. That I wish that would have worked out, but I have paved another way for myself. Either I had to grow that way or grow professionally. So I guess this happened for me in a better way. Broken at some point, but obviously healing is a journey, and it's still happening.
Right. So what would be your quick tips for people who are currently in this phase?
The heartbroken
Yeah,
phase.
yeah,
You know, I realized after that life is so different. Suddenly, I got introduced to dating apps, which was really not a big deal. Like, it was not a part of, when 2009, 2010, I was dating. People find it so easy. And I'm talking about my experience and the kind of people that I have met. People think I'm old school. When I look back, I would certainly fall for someone whom I would possibly meet at a party or across a bar or at a friend's birthday party. But people sit in rooms swiping. Okay, you do not click with him. Move to the next. Move to the next.
yeah.
Because because of this, I feel people are lost in transition and they have lost stability of sticking on to someone. And for the amount of guys, I have met a lot of guys. It's not that I haven't, but I realized that people are not stable because they're always thinking there is someone better than her or better than him. And and if you believe in the universe, I feel the right person at the right time is going to come, but you need to be really happy with what you are and accept yourself. And this is my healing and learning journey that I've had. Now I have left it to the universe that, listen, if there is someone for me, get it right in front of me and say this is him. Beyond this, I do not want any more drama in my life.
That's really nice, and also thanks for touching onto the parts about the current, things, the
Oh,
relationships.
it's
Awful.
bonkers.
Yeah, yeah.
People are mad. I do not know where this is going to lead. I feel people are going to start craving for real love stories now because
And
it's
starts
so
getting
much
bad
lost
again.
in transition. People are looking to, hook up, having flings, one night stand. Married men are there, married women are there. I do not know where, each for their own. But like I have come to realize that I like this old school way. I am like a monogamous person. I want that just one person to be in a relationship with and nothing beyond. And obviously, I seek the same from the other. But yeah, dating apps has been a boon because I know a lot of my friends who've found their partners on these dating apps.
But it has its
on the contrary-
downsides. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does have-
completely. It has a lot of the downside, and all I see is people lose the stability of sticking on to one or like wanting to even work. The moment they know there's one thing that tricks them off, they're like, okay, next.
Right. Wow, nice that you have touched this. My philosophy on this, I shouldn't be saying about it out loud, but the thing is, I've always known that you can be greedy for things, right? You can always be greedy to have a bigger house, a safer place, jewelry, or if you are, interested in it. But you shouldn't be greedy about people. The moment you become greedy for people, I think that's when the whole thing, the whole love factor goes up for a toss. That is something that I feel that you can't
I agree.
want for someone better always, and
I agree.
yeah. But again, I know it's debatable. That's another topic.
Yeah. It's just about what you want in life. See, there's a difference between what you want and what you actually need in life to have a stable relationship. So I guess I am in a phase now of needing what I need. Yeah, than like just sticking to the one. So I guess that's where I am in life right now.
Okay, so we have last two questions. The penultimate one is, do you have any regrets in your life?
No, not at all. I live a life completely of regrets, and even if I don't have a single thing that I wake up to that I could have done something better. Yeah, I maybe think I could have done something better, but am I better at it today? Yes.
And the last is, what's your ultimate goal? Ultimate thing that you want to achieve apart from helping people out achieve the bodily or all of that which you have already mentioned. Apart from that, what's your ultimate goal and what do you want from this life? Like at the end, how do you want to see yourself as?
See, I realized from my personal thing, my goals are changing. Like, if I have this today, what next? Like, okay, I wanted to be on MasterChef. Yes, now what next? It's constantly a journey, and I guess I want to enjoy this journey and forget about what the ultimate destination is going to be. Because I do not know. Jaise bolte na, kal ho na ho. I really do not know with how unpredictable life is. I want to enjoy every moment and meet a lot of people like you who would love listening to everyone's stories and possibly reach it out to more people possible. Ultimate is, you got to find, happiness is inwards. That I have understood. All of us are so caught up with this rut ki, you know, I'm going to be happy when I have this, when I have that. Certainly you want to work towards it, but I realized happiness is something that's inward. You can be happy with earning, you know, maybe 50 rupees a day. You cannot be happy earning 50,000 a day.
Perfect. So with that answer, this podcast officially has ended, but of course not ended, but the segment has ended. Now we go into our game round. We have spoken about lots of serious things, so to reboot and to have a nice, you know, vibe before you leave, first game round is a rapid fire round, and the second one is would you rather. So it's more about I'd be giving you two options and you would have to choose one out of the two. Right?
Okay.
So are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Rapid.
Cool. So the first question, you should be super fast, right? You know, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The first question: the easiest way to getting into your heart.
Food.
Okay. Right. What's the craziest thing you ever done to impress someone?
I have traveled to city to meet someone. Yeah, for me it's crazy because I've never done that for anyone earlier.
All right. All right. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
No, nothing as such that. No, nothing that I can recall. Yeah.
Okay. What makes Priya Vijan a happy person?
Food.
Okay. Three most important people in your life.
My mom, my brother, and of course my dad's not physically here, but him.
All right. Oh my god, I forgot to ask you the relationship that you share with your brother. Oh my god. Okay, all right. Your ultimate personality trait that you look forward in a guy.
Physical or like?
That's up to you. Personality. You can give physical.
Okay, personality. If you know, I'm a tall person. If you're talking about the physical aspect, I'm tall. I'm like 5'8". I usually, you know, get attracted to a guy on a physical aspect to someone who's at least 6. Of course, taller. I won't say 6'6" is too much to ask these days, but taller than me. And somehow I'm attracted to men who are like bearded.
And the other part, I mean, philosophically and, you know, mentally, what kind of trait that you look for?
I guess chivalry is one part. Basic chivalry, I don't say too much though, because, you know, I won't say I'm a complete feminist. Like I said, I'm old school. I like the old ways still, where the man makes the move about, you know, asking a girl out and chasing her and stuff. Chivalry is one, and emotionally available. Emotionally unavailable men are total turn-offs.
All right. Next question: if you had a genie in a bottle, what would you wish for? One.
I really want to do the world tour. I have not got a chance to travel too much. I want to do that.
All right. If a biopic is ever made on you, which actress would you like to play you?
Anushka Sharma.
If you can have a superpower, which one would you want to have?
Maybe be invisible and be visible. I mean, invisible in places that, you know, things that I would just want to know.
Right. And the last question, if you were to die tomorrow, what would you do today?
Eat the best food possible.
All right. So with that, our rapid fire round, next round is like would you rather. So I'll be giving you two options and you have to choose. The first one is would you rather never be able to go out during the day or never be able to go out at night?
At night.
Okay. Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
20 minutes early. Though I'm 10 minutes late always, but I would rather prefer the first.
All right. Would you rather have a life partner that snored or a life partner that sleepwalked? Crazy question.
I didn't understand
would
the
you
first half.
would you rather have a life partner that snored, or a life partner that sleepwalked?
God.
Yeah.
You know, for the light sleeper, I am like I won't be able to sleep in both the ways. If the person is snoring or like have to get up of the bed and start walking, this is a nightmare for me.
What would you choose anyway? Which is the worst or which is the easier one of two?
The sleepwalk.
Okay. At least it's not going to disturb you.
Yeah.
चल के चले जाएंगे. All right. The next one. Would you rather spend a week in the forest or a night in a real haunted house?
Week in the forest. I am a nature lover completely.
You're not into haunted ones, or you're not. Into
I get
stuff?
fascinated, but alone, I don't think I want to do this exploring part.
Alright, okay. Okay. Would you rather be embarrassed in front of your crush or in front of your boss? You don't have a boss, so.
No, I don't think I'll be embarrassed in front of my if I have a boyfriend as well. I mean, this is the story of my life.
Alright. Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life? This is interesting.
I would rather pause, reflect,
And then.
introspect, and then just go further.
Okay. Alright. Would you rather ask your ex or a total stranger for a favor?
Yeah, I guess this is one thing that I'm not able to do. Otherwise, also asking favors. Not a stranger for sure.
Okay. Alright. Would you rather detect every lie you hear or get away with every lie you tell?
Detect.
Mhm.
I want that superpower with the genie.
Yeah. Would you rather be the funniest person in the room or the smartest one?
The funny one.
Okay, all right. So with that, our game also ends. And that said, I really loved the conversation, and I'm sure people are going to hear it and they're going to have a blast because of the kind of things we have spoken. And the final one, how was your experience talking to us?
It was really amazing because rarely people. I know after the MasterChef journey, there are a lot of people who want to know your story because ideally not too much about my story came out on MasterChef for whatever so reason. But I know a lot of people who wanted to know, and I'm sure that a lot of people will listen to this. And I totally enjoyed that you had all the patience to listen to everything that I had to say and never cut me off even once in between. I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really happy. This is my first podcast.
All right. So that said, thanks, Priya, and I hope our audience loved this podcast. And of course, I'll be bringing some more amazing episodes, and you all also have to watch out for it.
Dolly.
Right. And with
So
that-
all the best for everything that you do in life.
Yep.